As you can see, I'm wearing the same shirt as last video. This has been filmed like 5 seconds afterwards. Don't judge. Now in this video, I kind of want to touch up on a more serious topic. They've been pretty light so far, kind of, but I'm going to get into the real thrust of what I'm trying to do here. Basically, today I'm going to talk about social anxiety. Now, just to preface, I have severe social anxiety, generalized anxiety with panic attacks, depression, and hypersensitivity. So it's not like I just have social anxiety. I have a lot of other things too, but my social anxiety is very overpowering. It's not the same thing as being shy. It's not the same thing as being antisocial or introverted, and it's not something quirky that you can just like tack on to your personality. It's very real, very serious, and very hard to deal with, but I've been working to overcome it, and I'd like to share a few things I've learned. I recently kind of developed a social life, and the social life involves me going out with a large group of people, much larger than I'm used to, say around 10 people on average, and doing things. This is a social anxiety sufferer's worst nightmare. But there are methods I have learned to deal with my social anxiety in these situations, but I can enjoy myself and have a healthy social life because that's important for development as a teenager and as a human in general. It's not good just to lock yourself away and sit inside and have panic attacks whenever you have to talk to somebody. The first thing I recommend is that you have an ally in the group. An ally is somebody that you're close to, that knows about your social anxiety and understands, that knows about your panic attacks and understands, and that if you need to separate yourself from the group for a little while, but you don't want to be alone, you can just grab your ally and go. A good way to do this is to just go to the bathroom if you're in some place that has a bathroom, say if you're hanging out at the mall or something, and bring that ally with you, and you can just take a few moments to calm down, to breathe, to go through your grounding routines, to talk it out with your ally, anything like that. And it doesn't look weird because you're in the bathroom with a friend or whatever, or what other excuse you chose to use. I once accompanied a friend to the bathroom, not technically, she was going to the bathroom, I just hung out somewhere else while this was going on, at a party just because I was near crying from my social anxiety, and that was my best friend, so I once did that. So having an ally is critical in these situations. If you don't have an ally, then I would recommend basically limiting your groups to people that you feel comfortable with, smaller groups, because if not, your social anxiety is going to become overbearing and you're going to have a terrible time. And that's just the fact of it. If you have it as severe as I do and you haven't quite gotten to a point where you're comfortable hanging out with people that you're not as familiar with without an ally. Relatedly, I suggest starting small and then working your way up. Don't start going to parties every weekend right away. Have your ally, hang out with a couple friends, hang out with a couple more friends, and just work your way up. It's gradual exposure, so it won't shock you too bad, and it'll kind of get you used to it again. I also recommend that in addition to your ally, you have somebody kind of on the outside that you can contact. Somebody that you can text when you're feeling uncomfortable or panicky, if say your ally is otherwise occupied. So another friend that understands, or a family member, or just something like that. So you won't look awkward because pretending to text or even just texting is the oldest trick in the book to not looking awkward in public. And it'll be fine, and you can just kind of talk through your panic attack with them or talk through your uncomfortable sensations with them, and it'll be great. So I really recommend, you need a support system. You can't not have a support system and overcome something. So get a support system. And lastly, my last tip for hanging out in a big group is a cliche, but it's a very true cliche, and it's fake it until you make it. Act like you're confident, act like you have no social anxiety, act like you love the people, act like they're your best friends. Just go out and do it. And I've tried this. Just go out and do it, because there's, at the end of the day, like, what else are you gonna do? Just fake it till you make it. It's the best advice in the book. And remember that even if you do become overwhelmed and you have a panic attack, you remove yourself from the situation, but not with the intention of removing it forever. Obviously, if you're extremely overwhelmed and you feel like you're gonna pass out, remove yourself for the time being and say that you're not feeling well, you have to go home, whatever you need to do. But if it's just a smaller panic attack, just smaller discomfort, just remove yourself, take a breather, have your ally there with you, text somebody, do what you need to do to ground yourself, and then insert yourself back into the situation. Because it's not about removing yourself, it's about becoming comfortable enough that you can rejoin and live life normally. And at the end of the day, that's the goal here, is to live life like a normal person would, even though you have adversities. Alright, so that was it for today. I know it was a bit heavier than usual, but it's something very close to my heart. So remember that if you like this video and you want to see more in the future, to thumbs up, drop a comment, and subscribe.